Star Trek just addressed one of its most nonsensical details with a clever fix that makes total sense. Star Trek is one of the most beloved sci-fi franchises in the history of the genre, but that doesn't mean every little thing about it is perfect. In fact, there are a few details that are downright nonsensical, including and especially one that has amounted to little more than a running gag throughout Star Trek's many iterations. But in the most recent Star Trek installment, this particular detail gets a clever fix that actually makes sense. In Star Trek #26 by Colin Kelly, Jackson Lansing, and Angel Hernandez, the psychopathic android duplicate of Data named Lore has detonated a bomb in the center of all reality, one that will extinguish all life in every universe. Captain Sisko and his crew of the USS Theseus narrowly escape the destruction of their universe, sliding through time into an alternate past where they meet variants of Captain Kirk and his crew of the USS Enterprise. After their ships were face to face, the two captains decided to bring their crews together while they figured out what to do next. While Sisko and Kirk brainstormed solutions to this cosmic problem, other members of their crews had casual conversations and even pointed out some differences between their ships. In fact, one crew member even points out that this version of the USS Enterprise has floors that seem slippery, to which the person he's talking to replies, "What would you want it to be? Carpet." Since the start of the franchise and all the way through the next generation, Star Trek starships, specifically the USS Enterprise, have had interior carpeting. This admittedly kitsch design choice is the hilarious product of a bygone era, one where people thought shag carpeting was peak interior design. However, kitsch or not, the carpet inside starships actually makes a lot of sense. The biggest concern that was brought up regarding the floor of this USS Enterprise is that they looked slippery, and given the amount of space battles these ships get into, that's a valid concern. With ships getting hit by enemy fire, or quickly taking evasive actions, having floors with some traction would be preferable to shiny metal floors, regardless of aesthetic, and carpet certainly offers traction. It's a fun justification for this silly 60s design, but it actually makes sense. As previously mentioned, Star Trek's interior carpeting in its starships has been the butt of many jokes throughout the franchise, including in the animated comedy series Star Trek: Lower Decks. In Season 4, Episode 5, a few characters, who are pretty inebriated, walk into a starship and one of them says, "Oh, I love your Starfleet carpeting. It's perfect to pass out on." According to Star Trek: Lower Decks, the carpet is made for passing out on, which is actually another practical use for the bizarre interior design choice. While Star Trek: Lower Decks offered a valid reason for the starship carpet, that was definitely more of a joke that points out the absurdity of such a design. However, in this Star Trek comic, fans actually get a solid reason why there's carpet in some starships, giving this nonsensical detail a very clever fix. For decades, Star Trek has transported audiences to a future of scientific wonders, interstellar diplomacy, and mind-bending anomalies. But even in a universe so meticulously crafted, certain details have long defied logic. One of these, a staple of the franchise, has often been overlooked despite its obvious absurdity until now. Recent Star Trek storytelling has finally addressed one of its most nonsensical details with a clever fix that not only makes perfect sense, but enhances the realism of the franchise's world building. The issue? How universal translators manage to seamlessly integrate lip movements with alien languages, something that has confounded fans for years. The Universal Translator, a sci-fi miracle with a glaring flaw. Since Star Trek, the original series, TOS, the Universal Translator has been an essential tool, enabling communication between different species without language barriers. This device, whether embedded in communicators, starship systems, or even surgically implanted, allows Starfleet officers to understand and be understood in virtually any language. Yet, despite its practicality, one glaring inconsistency has plagued its depiction: the flawless synchronization of alien speech with English lip movements. If an Andorian, a Klingon, or a Romulan were speaking their own languages, why do their lips always match the English dialogue? In the early days, this was an unavoidable byproduct of television production. Dubbing alien dialogue would have been impractical and distracting. However, as Star Trek evolved, this issue became increasingly difficult to ignore, especially with modern audiences more attuned to visual inconsistencies. Several explanations were floated over the years, from the idea that the translator projected an audio illusion over speakers' mouths to the suggestion that it worked on a neurological level, directly modifying perception. But none of these theories were ever made canon until now. The clever fix, a quantum neural interface. In Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 3, the Universal Translator finally receives an in-universe update that explains away its long-standing inconsistency. Starfleet engineers, in collaboration with various alien civilizations, have developed an advanced neural synchronization protocol. This system, dubbed the Quantum Neural Interface, QNI, doesn't just translate words, it subtly adjusts the way a listener perceives speech at a subconscious level. Essentially, the Universal Translator now interfaces directly with a person's auditory and visual processing centers, ensuring that spoken words and corresponding lip movements appear perfectly aligned in the listener's mind. The effect is instantaneous and imperceptible, making it feel as if the speaker is truly communicating in the listener's native tongue. This explanation not only resolves the visual discrepancy, but also adds an extra layer of realism to Star Trek's technological evolution. Just as 21st century technology has advanced from rudimentary voice recognition to near instantaneous AI-driven translations, the future of linguistic technology would likely incorporate neural interfacing. Why this fix makes total sense. The QNI solution isn't just a convenient handwave, it actually aligns with existing Star Trek technology and real-world linguistic theory. Here's why it works so well. 1. Builds on established Star Trek science. Throughout Star Trek, various species have demonstrated advanced neurological technology from Vulcan mind melds to the Borg's collective consciousness. A quantum neural interface fits perfectly within this framework, leveraging established scientific principles to enhance communication. The Federation has long experimented with neural interfaces such as the bio-neural gel packs introduced in Star Trek Voyager. Given Starfleet's expertise in cybernetics and medical science, refining a system that enhances perception isn't far-fetched. 2. Solves a decades-old production challenge. While the original issue stemmed from practical production limitations, modern CGI and deepfake technology could have provided alternative solutions. However, the QNI explanation preserves the traditional look of Star Trek while retroactively justifying decades of storytelling. Now, fans can revisit older episodes with a newfound appreciation for how the technology really works. 3. Explains how aliens understand humans just as easily. One often overlooked aspect of the Universal Translator is that it works both ways. When a Starfleet officer speaks English, an alien should hear it in their own language, but their lip movements should not match. The QNI resolves this by ensuring the listener's brain seamlessly processes the words and visuals together, making it appear as though both parties are naturally speaking the same language. 4. Elevates the immersion of Star Trek's universe. By integrating the Universal Translator more deeply into neural perception, Star Trek enhances the believability of its world. It acknowledges that communication isn't just about hearing words but interpreting meaning through tone, context, and nonverbal cues. The QNI ensures that even subconscious elements of language, such as intonation and emphasis, are conveyed accurately across species. The broader implications of the QNI. The introduction of the quantum neural interface also opens up intriguing narrative